Now, I was very, very disgusted, entertained, but disgusted because I believe that a lot of things that's happening on these shows, including the Lapeef Let's Talk show, from the panelists specifically, are a bit hypocritical. And so I was tuning in from the beginning. Me and my family was driving back from the restaurant, and so we went over into this restaurant that's really, really nice. And me and Leslie and Rita, and we had dinner together. And then we were driving back from the restaurant, and so I threw on the Lapeef Let's Talk show, and I seen the countdown. And by the time that I got to the crib, I was able to jump on the laptop, watch it on my computer, and then I threw it on my TV until I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and cam up and have this conversation, right? The first subject I can deal with when they were talking about, hey, this is what men are supposed to do or men aren't supposed to do or whatever. They even surprised me, right? Like, I didn't know that men couldn't have an umbrella. When did men not be able to get their hookup wet or not to prevent themselves from getting wet in the rain based off of having an umbrella? I was not familiar with that. Listen, I don't care what y'all say. If it's raining outside or I see a forecast, I'm definitely going to have my umbrella with me. I don't care what y'all talking about. I ain't never heard of that before in my life. I am not familiar with men not being able to have umbrellas. Then why they put them in a Rolls Royce? I guess for your driver or your butler to be able to care for you. You ain't supposed to have an umbrella. Neither here nor there. So I could deal with that, right? That's a nice, fun, haha, playful thing or whatever. But that next subject, this Blac Chyna thing, right? And I want to mine this out extensively today. This Blac Chyna subject and these Christians, boy, y'all are doing a number on me. I can't understand for the life of me what the heck is going on with this Blac Chyna thing. Give me a second. I'm checking into my work computer. Dang. Did I put in 20? Gotcha. All right, cool. So let's get back into the show. All right, so let me go ahead and play a little bit of the part that I seen shortly before I jumped on the panel, and then I'm gonna play what happened to show you the hypocrisy, and I want to address this whole Christian narrative in the first place. So let me go ahead and see if I can scrub through this and get a better view. What? Let's see if we can find it. Give me a second. Boop, boop. There's always a way. If there's a will, there is a way. All right, here we go. So let me just expand this and we'll go from here. All right, there we go. Much better. All right, so I'm going to play this, and then I want you guys to give me some insight on whether or not we both seen this the right way, all right? Let me see if I can find this.
Y'all can't.
Let me see if I can fast
Why he
forward.
can't be a man in every aspect of life. But if we're going to talk about dumbass.
Like when your chest poke out.
You say when your hands poke problem. So now.
Okay,
Now, I
here we
understand
go.
what Sweeney said, and it's just like whatever, these chicks, these hoes, and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing. No matter what you want to say, it's a good thing, So I can't get mad at her regardless of what it is, because I actually agree with Sweeney. Most likely she, and I don't know, but her ass shot started getting her sick. And then all of a sudden, she had to get surgery. And you already know you have gastric bypass surgery or you get.
What is Mr. Let Go talking about? And this is one of the reasons why I had to pull up. What is honestly, y'all, what is Mr. Let Go talking about in this situation? Because I don't understand why it's so difficult for us to be able to hold women accountable for the things that they do, but it's okay for us to hold men accountable. It's okay, y'all go back and forth. I get into it with a guy and we got smoke and all of this other type of stuff, but it's never okay to be honest about what it is that we see happening with women. Not at all, right? Okay, let's continue.
All this shit out of your body, guess what? You flabby now. Your skin is probably just flabby, you're looking crazy or whatever, or your ass is looking weird because you had to have emergency surgery. We're just, we don't know, but the bottom line is she probably can't do OnlyFans no more because she probably is embarrassed of her body. But with all that being said, I'm glad something, whether it's the 70 dicks, whether it's the flab and the surgery, or whether it's her finding God, I'm just glad she's making a change because she has kids. Them kids is tired of her looking, their mama looking like a hoe. So the day your mama says, I don't want to be a whore anymore, I'm happy for the kids.
Why do we give credit to people? Can we stop there for a minute? And I'm going to speed this up because I actually want to, have these conversations go a little bit quicker. Can we stop there right there for a second, ladies and gentlemen, and say that what the hell is happening in our culture and in our society to where we don't hold anybody accountable anymore? It doesn't matter how much money you made from OnlyFans. It doesn't matter how much D you took. It don't matter how many women you led into destruction. The only thing that matters is you living in your truth and you can do whatever it is that you want to do when you want to do it. And this is why people feel comfortable enough to do whatever they want to do and say whatever they want to say when they want to say it, because they know that you ain't going to do nothing but provide a safety net for them. Whereas when we talking about equality, men have no safety net. But that ain't even the part that I'm going to get to that part, right? I'm going to come over to Blac Chyna because I seen her on an interview with Forbes. You're trying to get your life together, get baptized, get your dissolving going on, removing your OnlyFans after you extracted hundreds of millions of dollars from it and came up off of Tyga and then be associated with the Kardashians and sued all of them. I'm going to get to that part, right? But before I get to that part, I want to get to what I said, right? And then the reaction to me, because what's more important is the sentiment among women and that they feel comfortable interrupting, talking over you, and then don't want the same type of smoke in return. Let me say that again. You feel comfortable enough to say anything you want to say Now, listen, remember this, y'all. Well, before I get into it, let me play it, and then we gonna go over it, all right? That has profited from the dysfunction that they continue to place on a community. They extract all of the money from it, and then we supposed to give them some credit like they did something that was courageous. Facts. Or any better than anybody else. Why? And for y'all that's speaking on the church that don't know shit about the church, why do God always got to get the leftovers? Now, I think that that's a valid point. Why do we only talk about the redemption story? Why do the devil, and I talked about this the other day, how come the devil can get the best of you and then God always got to get the rest of you? Why are we always celebrating the heathens and the people that, listen, there were all kinds of different people inside of the Bible, right? It was people that went against God. It was people that hated the saints that then got a redemption story. It was people that was born to do the thing that was the right thing. It was people that was done dirty. It was people that came back. It was people that never did nothing wrong, and they wound up just being phenomenal people within the Word of God that led people down a path of righteousness, so on and so forth. So there's all different types of characters. The Bible itself is a movie, is movies within movies within movies, right? So let's remove that narrative. Then what about this person in the Bible? And what about this person in the Bible? That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What I'm asking is that why do we promote for you to have to go through the worst of the worst self-inflicted gun wound, pound, pound. You got to have a self-inflicted gun wound because nobody did it to you. Nobody made you. Nobody forced you to sleep with anybody. You didn't go through slavery. You didn't go through something that you couldn't control yourself. Listen. Let's be honest. You finessed Rob Kardashian. Let me say it again for the people in the back. You infiltrated a family based off of an opportunity and finessed the dude and got with a dude that you didn't even like in the first place in order to get a baby by him. Have a baby by me, baby. Be a millionaire. Write a check before the baby comes. Who the hell cares? You finessed Rob Kardashian. So we want to forget that part. You came up off of Tyga. You started an OnlyFans and profited from all of the dysfunction. How many women possibly could have followed you and let themselves right on down to hell into the alcohol river? But we just supposed to forget all of that part because it's your redemption story. It's your truth. And so after you done, and after you had your kids, and after you did your finessing, and after you got all of your money, and ain't nobody checking for you no more, now God can have you. Now it's an opportunity for God to be able to use you to say, ain't nobody checking for you no more. That's not the part that I want to get to. I'll talk about that shortly. Let me go ahead and continue to play this because I want to show the hypocrisy from people, because it wasn't just women, from people on this panel. I want to show you what we deal with as men on a regular basis for those that don't have a platform and for those that do have a platform, because I just so happen to have a platform to where I can get my rocks off. I can talk my talk after the conversation. But let me show you what it is that I see. Why is it that when you fucked up in your life that we got to have a redemption story? You know what? We don't always have to hear y'all testimonies. I don't want to hear how many dicks you done sucked. I don't want to hear how much money, because you ain't giving none of the money back that you made off of all of the OnlyFans content that you put out. You ain't taking Tyga's dick back out of your mouth. You ain't not being in the public eye anymore and starting to, live your life a little bit differently. Let's just call it what it is. It's a rebrand.
So does that apply to women only? Because that seems.
I'm sorry, ma'am. One thing that I've watched over the last couple weeks from Queen Sheba. Now, Queen Sheba deserves this smoke. Even though I'm a nicer person, I am a much different person than I used to be, because I don't feel the need to have to say, sir, I've already made my point of what it is that I feel about a lot of these women that is operating outside of their purpose and outside of their femininity, right? So I don't have to hit that. Queen Sheba, she has her own platform. And you want to know what I seen from Queen Sheba? Queen Sheba did hours and hours longs with multiple different people that didn't even know who I was. Queen Sheba let people come up on the panel, and I never even mentioned it. I never even said anything. She let people come up on the panel that ain't never even seen me before, talk stuff about me with false narratives, have conversations like I wasn't even married longer than every last one of them that was on that panel. So she feels the need to be able to get her rocks off. So let me tell you what it is that I seen. I'm not even going to kill Queen Sheba herself. I'm going to kill what it is that I seen play out on the panel. I'm going to kill the message, not the messenger. I think that she's a cool person. I have nothing against her whatsoever. I think that her voice is very, very entertaining, especially when it's on these panels. But the one thing that I will not tolerate is the same thing that y'all tried to hold me and Ilosophical. Let's be clear. Y'all tried to hold me and she got thousands of views from it. Congratulations, Queen Sheba. You used my name in order to continue to build your platform. But the one thing that they held me, Ilosophical, and every single guy that came before me is being accountable for the disrespect, especially when it comes to the disruption. Y'all said that when me and the dude Ilosophical got into it, the foundation of it was the fact that we interrupted each other or we wouldn't give each other grace, regardless of who's right or who's wrong, because that's already under the bridge. But I'm using that as a bridge in order to show you the hypocrisy of how women can get away with this type of stuff, right? Y'all said that we disrespected each other by interrupting each other and wouldn't give grace when somebody else was speaking in order for them to be able to get their full point across. Now, the first thing that I seen, I hadn't even been speaking for 45 seconds. 45 seconds before I started being rudely interrupted. Now, I understand people are passionate and they can be able to say it is, whatever, so on and so forth. I've interrupted people, absolutely. But then when the person asks for grace and they say, yo, can I finish my point? The same way that I issued grace, so I'm not asking for anything that I don't do myself. The same way that I issued grace to Ilosophical before it blew up, right, is the same thing that I'm requesting for her. I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility, but I never called her out of her name. I never disrespected her. I've learned my lesson as a man. I said, listen, I was right about the philosophical thing, and that could be debated, but it doesn't mean I was right in the entirety of the situation. So I can take accountability for my part in it and said, you know what? I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have called him out of his name. If he took this as disrespect, I need to take accountability for that. And that's what men do. We take accountability for the things that we do wrong, even if we don't feel like the entirety of it is our fault. We still got to take ownership. There is no safety net for men. But even though I didn't call her out of her name, you'll see it. I'm about to play it. Even though I didn't call her out of her name, even though I didn't disrespect her, even though I didn't go off on her, right? Because she very much controls her own panels on her channel. This is what I had to endure. I had to endure when I was speaking for no longer than 45 seconds before I was rudely interrupted.
Very.
Listen.
No,
it's just about her.
This is
and my second thing, Stefan,
this is the typical response from a woman. They always want to make it about gender.
No, I'm asking a question just for clarification.
But I wasn't done talking.
You actually came in and skipped the line.
Man. I'm sorry, man.
Darling,
I wasn't done talking.
Sweetheart.
I wasn't done talking, darling.
I'm just asking you because you came in and disrupted the flow. Y'all switched. We didn't know what was going on. We
Because
don't
you don't know if I'm already going to answer your question before you pose it.
I'm just asking for
Well,
clarification.
you can't ask a question before I finish cooking. You might like the meal that I give you before I'm done. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I did not do the same thing. I waited till Mr. Let Go finished his point, and then I started talking. I waited for him to, even though I disagreed with him, I waited for Mr. Let Go to finish his point, and then I started talking. How you gonna overtalk me after the last show that you was on? You was forcing people to be respectful for you because you thought that you was bossed up. But see, let me tell you the difference. I love Let Go, but I'm not Let Go. I love Bruiser, but I'm not Bruiser. I think that Trigger Mike is awesome, but I'm certainly not Trigger Mike. I don't even know. See, you be gone for 1 week. I'm gone for 1 week. And now we got the inmates running the asylum. I'm not none of these people. Listen, I'm so much not none of these people. I always advise people to tread carefully. I advise people to tread very carefully because not only am I not going to tolerate the disrespect, I'm 1 millisecond away from going all the way on that other side, and then y'all gonna be talking about how I hate women. No, I don't hate women. I just don't tolerate women operating outside of the framework in which we put together for you to be able to communicate. You would never let anybody just continue to overtalk you on your own platform. Ever. And the reason why I've had to make so many examples of so many of the women before us is because I'm trying to prevent y'all from shooting yourself in the foot. I'm not that far removed. I'm not that far removed from going back into that dark place and pulling out everything that I need to pull out in order to make examples of people. So now I've changed. Listen, I've heard your cries. I've heard your requests. It's necessary for me to go ahead and still extend. I'm sorry, darling, which is what you have labeled on your name on the panel. I was calling her ma'am. You know that ma'am is a term of respect. Let me show you what continued to happen to me while I was having this conversation yesterday. I'm sorry, ma'am. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second, man.
I'm just asking for clarification.
I'm
Can
sorry.
you give me that?
I don't need to give any. Listen.
I'm just
asking.
asking.
You can't understand what a C student is saying.
It's just a question.
I'm not really sure you need any more clarification. The fact of the matter is,
okay. So are we doing that? Are we doing a power trip tonight? Anton, are you coming in with a power trip tonight?
Shiba, you doing
No, I'm asking.
The fact of the matter is,
that's what y'all do.
So now, and this is what Black women regularly do. Whenever you don't acquiesce over into their demands, now it's about one of 5 things. It's a power trip, Because if this is a power trip, then what was it that you displayed the week before? Should I pull up that video? It's either a power trip or who hurt you or whoever it was that did it to you. You need to get over that and get some healing, or that's little D energy, or I can't believe you disrespecting women like this. It's always that. Why is it not any kind of self-accountability that comes along with this? Is this a power trip, or is this me politely for an extended period of time requesting that you let me finish my point and then you'll have an opportunity to respond? But that's not what happened. Let me show you what happened, ladies and gentlemen.
God get up here and bully people and
God is tired
and bully and do
getting
all this.
the devil's left.
I'm just asking.
I don't care. And you know what? And Miss Sheba, your inability to be able to control yourself when a man is speaking,
Are we really going to do that? Have you ever heard me call anybody?
Hey, at any point in this conversation, did y'all see me do any disrespect? At any point in this conversation, have y'all seen any disrespect whatsoever? Dog, I couldn't imagine, not even a little bit, I couldn't imagine any woman in my presence talking to me like this. Dog, do you know how this would play out with any of my brother's wives, with my mother, with my wife, with my grandmother, or any woman that is in our family or in our presence? Do you know how this plays out in real life? Honestly, I mean, I'm being dead honest. Dog, I have never had a woman continue to talk to me and over talk to me the way that I be talked to on these platforms by women. Unwarranted, because they don't like how you respond, but they never talk about the core reason why we got here in the first place. I could never, ever in my life imagine a woman that is in my presence that then say, well, black men don't protect black women. So you're looking for protection, but you also issuing disrespect along with it. I could never, and I never disrespected her not once. Even in this conversation, I said, listen, Queen Sheba, your inability to be able to control yourself. See, Mr. Let Go, he be saying, shut up. Could you just shut up? Can you just shut the hell up? That's how Mr. Let Go be telling y'all to rock. And y'all not tripping because he'll pander to y'all 5-10 minutes afterwards. And I love Mr. Let Go. That's my guy, but I got to be honest. He'll pander to y'all 5-10 minutes afterwards. So y'all okay with him saying, shut up? I say, listen, ma'am, your inability to be able to control yourself when another person is talking, it doesn't make sense to me. And now I'm on a power trip? Okay.
Out of their name.
You know, I said Shiba. What did I say?
No, I'm saying my inability to control. Have you ever heard
inability to be able to control yourself? I'm sorry, Mr. Let Go. I got it. Let me cook. Your inability to be able to control yourself when a man. No,
your inability.
While
because you come in ruling. We know it's.
We're gonna mute you for a second. Because I know you like to control.
Do that.
So when you start to incur, right? This is the equivalent. Muting somebody that's being disrespectful is the equivalent of protecting them against themselves. It's like a woman hitting you, right? Swinging up and hitting you, not expecting for you to hit her back, but you don't hit her back. You just kind of hold her and tie her up and say, listen, stop hitting me. Please don't continue to put your hands on me, right? I'm going to just hold you. It's the equivalent of holding a woman and then she's saying, let me go. Unmuting yourself is like saying, let me go. Me muting you on my panel because I'm continuing to be disrespected and nobody can hear anybody at this point is the equivalent of me holding you instead of beating the hell out of you. I didn't punch you back. You continue to disrespect me, but I'm just going to hold you and prevent you from hurting yourself. You're not hurting me, right? But let's continue. We are going to do that. And the reason why we're going to do that is because I watched your show, Queen Sheba. And you know what I seen on your show? While you still talking? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, man.
I just want to know if you're pulling a power play. That's it.
And this ain't no power play because
I just
again,
want to know why.
watch this. Hold on. I see you in the chat. I see you in the chat, Shiba. Watch this. This is just for you. If you feel like I'm amping this up, because I haven't even gotten to the part where you rage quit yet, I'm gonna drop this just for you. Just for Shiba. See, I don't just say stuff and don't give people an opportunity to be able to defend themselves. Just for Shiba. That's for you. And while I wait for you to come up here and be able to help us to understand how this was not disrespectful, I'm going to continue to play it until I didn't remove you from the panel. You raged quit. I'm going to continue to play this. Queen Sheba. And you know what I seen? You know what I seen?
Reviews. All I do is
You know
reviews.
what I seen? I'm sorry, ma'am. Can I finish my statement?
Go ahead.
You know what I seen?
Why?
I seen you controlling the panel. You shut motherfuckers down when they start. Yes, you do.
Give me one example.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish what I was saying, because I'm not going to let a woman or a man derail me from what it is that I wanted to say.
I just asked for clarification.
Let me bring the queen up. Let's do this. Hold on. Let me put myself, because I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I'm going to read y'all super chat shortly. Give me a second. Let me bring Queen Sheba up. Because I believe that I deserve an apology. How about you guys? Queen Sheba, good morning.
Hey, Anton. Can you hear me? Because I'm connected to my car. I want to make sure
I can hear you perfectly clear.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I deserve an apology from you, Queen Sheba. Did you hear me? Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I think I deserve an apology.
Oh, stop it. No, you don't.
Queen Sheba, you're not mature enough as a woman to. You're on here. You got over 1,200 people watching right now, right? About 1,300 people right now, and growing. And you're telling me that you're not mature enough to apologize to somebody like me that didn't disrespect you yesterday?
You did not disrespect me, so that was I didn't feel like you disrespected me. That's not an issue. What I felt like, I kind of felt like you disrupted the flow, right? What happened is, in the moment, all of a sudden, Trigger Mike dropped down. You came on. Like, nobody knew what was happening. Like, y'all just switched in the moment, and you jumped in, right? And it's like, what's going on? Now, of course, most people aren't going to ask you that because most of them are intimidated by you. So I wanted to know in that moment, hey, are you hosting? Are you a panelist? And you were like, hey, don't interrupt me. I was just trying to level set with you. That's it.
So when I said, okay, so cool. So when I said, hey, don't interrupt me, then why did you continue to interrupt me?
To be honest, to measure out how I was going to come at you, if I was going to do shots fired, or if you were hosting.
Now, why would you do shots fired to somebody, Queen Sheba, with an unwarranted?
If you were a panelist, that's what.
So you just gonna shoot shots at me for no reason?
No, but if you're getting into the discussion and a debate, or if you were hosting, that's all I was trying to clarify with you.
Queen Sheba. Mm-hmm. Now you know if somebody had did that to you on your panel, they would have been removed immediately.
Let me ask you this:
is that not true?
Listen, I don't get in it. I
Queen Sheba, why you can't answer the question?
I've never removed anybody. They interrupt me.
Oh, Queen Sheba, I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Okay, go ahead. Ask the question again. I've never removed anybody from my panel. And
Queen Sheba, if somebody continued to overtalk you on your panel the way that you did me yesterday, what would have happened?
I would say, hey guys, one at a time. Hold on, let me finish my thought. That's what I would probably
say. Then they didn't let you finish your thought. Then what would have happened?
Most times they do.
But what would have happened if they didn't?
I would mute them like you muted me.
And then you rage quit.
I did because I did rage quit. Let me tell you why. Not because of me and you. We've gone at it before. I rage quit because when the girl with the blue lipstick, she was agreeing with you. And I kind of felt like you came in hot and you were like, ma'am. And I was like, here he go. And I was like, I'm not in the mood. Let me go and just chill.
But I didn't. But that. So Queen. So when things don't go your way, you decide to rage quit?
No,
Now you
that was
know
my
that
first
is
time
not a
ever.
good example for our young ladies.
That was my first time ever leaving a panel.
But you did it unwarranted. Nobody even disrespected you.
No, you did not disrespect. I don't know. I just made a choice. I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like arguing. I just, and you know what, Anton? I was like, now he said that he's changing his, he's getting to different, like, I don't know. You made an announcement. You were going to do different topics and different that, different this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked that you actually popped up with smoke. You came in hot. Can we agree? Yes or no?
I came in with smoke for the subject, not for anybody specifically.
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
never spoke to anybody, blue lips, none of that. I never said anything to anybody or about anybody until I only addressed Bruiser and Mr. Let Go for pandering at towards the end when I jumped off.
I thought you were. So here's the thing: you were nice compared to what I've seen you be. Now I have to give you that. I'm a pretty straightforward. I'm not gonna try to flip things in my favor. Now listen, I do apologize for interrupting. I
I
was
see
just
now. I
going.
like that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
that.
can do that.
I appreciate that. I think that we all should hold ourselves accountable, and I have to give you credit. I have to say that, listen, I disagree with Queen Sheba on a lot of things. However, and I said it before I even started having this live stream, I said I think that she's necessary and her voice is very entertaining and needed on these panels and in these spaces. I said that.
I appreciate that. But I wasn't when I was asking you that question, I really wasn't like trying to be like what is it called? Adversarial. I was just trying to figure out are you gonna host or are you joining us? Right? Because if you're hosting, there's a different level of respect we gotta have for the host. But if it's a panelist, everybody is fair game. That's all I was trying to establish. But I get what
Fair
you're
enough,
saying.
and I'm with the smoke, and I'm fine with the shots and everything like that. But the only reason that Trigger Mike dropped down is because there wasn't enough spaces because there was only 10 boxes, and he wanted to drop. He dropped down and brought me up. I was willing to wait.
Gotcha. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I may have.
Is it
Okay.
anything else that you would
No, I
like to share with the
appreciate it.
audience?
I'm actually a pretty cool girl. People have to understand the dynamics on YouTube, real life. Everybody know, but like some of us have met in person. I haven't met you, but I've met different people. Y'all, this
Mm-hmm.
is YouTube. Please don't get that twisted with people's real life. People have to show up with a little bit of heat, a little bit of arsenal and ready to go to war and have a healthy debate.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
time.
listen, I know I've spoken with you outside of a panel and everything like that, and I got a lot of respect for you as a person, as a woman, and as a content creator. Which was why I was surprised why you
I
just jumped
appreciate
off the
you.
panel yesterday.
You know what? I don't think I was in the mood to fight. I was actually trying to like have a good time, and I could feel myself gearing up for a fight. And I'm like, nah, let me go ahead and go because I'm going there, and I really don't want to go there. And it's up to me to control how I show up. So that's it.
We with it. So I'm very much expecting to see you on the panel next week, right?
Yeah. Now, are you coming as a panelist or a host? Because I can go with you if you're a panelist.
I
But
don't
if you're
I
a
don't know
host,
what
I can
I might
contribute to
let you
your
run a
host.
gamut on the panel next week. I don't know. I don't know if I'm built for it.
Well, I appreciate you bringing me up and us just having this dialogue in a healthy manner. I really appreciate what you do and everything that you're trying to do on the behalf of the community. And it's just all, shits and giggles on the panel. It's never anything personal. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, listen, I appreciate you too, Queen, and thank you for coming up here and having this conversation with me. And I rock with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You already know that I rock with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Anton. I appreciate it.
All right, baby girl.